everyone. It's Dr. Colleen Meyer, and welcome to a brand new take with Michelle Petties. Michelle is a speaker, food story finder, author of the Amazon best-selling book, Leaving Large. Yay, there it is. So, Michelle, take it away.
The food addicts. Yes, I'm sorry, Colleen. I just had to jump in. Number 10. Number 10 this week on Amazon. Yay, everybody. So thank you, everybody who jumped in and made this thing happen. So this is just, we're gonna keep pushing this forward. We're going to keep pushing the truth forward. Thank you, Dr. Colleen Meyer. As always, moderator and producer extraordinaire. Appreciate you for that wonderful introduction. It's 7:00. It's Sunday night. It's time for a brand new take. It's 7:00 Eastern time. So in the windows tonight, we've got a new crew in the windows tonight. So we're going to be doing some truth telling around why we eat, what we eat, because that's what we do here on Sunday nights. We get on track so we can eat for the right reasons. We eat for the right reasons, eat for nutrition and nourishment, right? Instead of entertainment and pleasure, which gets us in trouble, which kept me in trouble for 40 years, which made me a yo-yo dieter for 40 years. Always in this battle between my mind, my body, and hunger. But when we tell the truth, when we live authentically, when we eat for the right reasons, when we don't eat to express emotion or suppress emotion, right? Then we can be free. Then we're not a slave to food and our body is not in bondage. And that's what we're all about, freedom tonight, right? We're all about freedom. We're all about freedom to step into our best lives and make smart decisions, good decisions that are rooted in how we want to live, how we want to feel, and how we want to show up, right? So that's what we're going to do. So in the windows tonight, I do want to share that we have Shelly Rice.
Hi.
Hey, Shelly. So Shelly's going to be joining on the conversation because she's been on a journey. And here's the thing, is that we are all on a journey. We're always on a journey. And the journey becomes easier. The journey becomes better when we bring folks along with us, right? When we learn from others, when we share with others, and we realize that we're not on this road alone, right? We're not on the road alone, and it makes it so much easier. And sometimes you do feel isolated. You feel like it's just you and the pound cake, right? But it's not. When we reach out to what I like to call our angel warriors, they will surround us, they will lift us up, and we can lock arms and move forward together. I also want to introduce Terry Riley, right? Terry Riley, she's our stylist from Cabby. And I want to stop and I want to talk about Terry, and I want to talk about Cabby, and I want to talk about her boutique for just a minute and why it is so special to me that she's on. Because once I got on this final leg of the journey, the thing that kept me rooted, the thing that helped me make better decisions was because I had an end goal. I had a result that I stayed focused on. And as shallow as it might seem to somebody, I just wanted to wear cuter clothes. I mean, really, that's all I wanted to do. But it is morphed into a bigger vision. But the thing is, we all have to have a reason, and our reasons are personal, that keep us on the straight and narrow, right? That make it a joy for us to stay on the straight and narrow, that make it easy for us to make the right decision. So for me, it was clothes. And I don't feel like I'm the only one out there, right?
No.
I don't feel like I'm the only one out there that has 5 sizes. I had 5 sizes of clothes in my closet. I couldn't wear any of them. And the 3 things that I could wear, they were too tight, right? I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like the way I felt. And I hated Monday mornings. And so we're going to step out of that, right? We're going to step out of that. Terry's going to show us how to step out of that. And you do it gradually. I'm telling you, y'all, 3 years ago, I had no idea my life could look like it looks like right now. I had no idea I could look like I look right now. And it was just 3 short years, one decision.
Wow.
You make a decision, you change your mind, You change your body, you change your life. Aaron, I see you nodding your head. You look like a woman that has been down this road, this road before too. So I want to introduce Erin Avery. She is a nutrition expert. She's a fitness expert, and she's gonna lay some of her knowledge on us tonight. You know, as we tell the truth about how we manage food. And I want you to know that I say manage food intentionally. Right? You hear people say relationship with food all the time. And I have said it in the past until I realized the error of my ways. Here's the truth. We manage food, we have relationships with people. And part of the problem is that we give food this superpower. We have this expectation that it can do something that it cannot. The only thing food can do is solve hunger. That's all it can do. But when we start looking to it for emotional support or as an emotional outlet, where there's happiness or sadness, then we start saying relationship because that's what we should get from people. So stop right now. Stop it. Stop. Do not pass go. From now on, everybody, we say together, we manage food. We have relationships with people. And when we start putting food in its proper place, it opens up our relationship with the people that are around us, and it allows us to connect. So I'm gonna get off my I'm gonna stay on the soapbox a little while longer. I'm gonna stay on a little while longer because I want to show. Here's the book. Leaving Large the Stories of Static. You can download a free chapter if you're watching tonight for the first time, or if you're watching tonight for the 10th time, and you haven't downloaded a free chapter. Download a free chapter, right? Download a free chapter. You'll hear how it all started, how the insight about really separating our feelings from the food. We make such connections to food around experiences, memories, and events that we get stuck when we think the food is the feeling, and it's not. It's a representation. It's connected. So we separate it, recognize the food is just the food, and then go to people for the feeling. So, Leaving Large: The Stories of the Food Addict. Download your free chapter, or it's still up on Amazon. You can download the whole ebook for 99 cents. I don't know how much longer that's going to be up, but you can download the ebook for 99 cents, or you can get the hardback. You can get the hardback on Amazon. They'll ship it to you in a couple of days. Or if you want to go to leavinglarge.com, you can order it directly from me and I'll autograph it. I'll autograph it for you and send it directly to you. So I'm going to say that again at the end, but I just wanted to say it right now to kind of get it out, to get it out of the way. So the other thing that we do on Sunday nights is we address our Monday dilemma. And a Monday dilemma is what goes up in the Facebook group. I Am Brand New Now is the Facebook group. And it's these everyday situations that sometimes get us in trouble, right? That surprise us, and we get stuck, and we make some decisions that we sometimes look back on and say, "Oh, well, I wish I hadn't done that." Right? Why did I do that? And so we unpack the food stories. Colleen puts it up in the group. We see what the group has to say about how they would handle the situation, and then our people in the window weigh in on their insight around the answer to the question. So, Colleen, it's your turn.
Okay, so this week's Monday Dilemma is you are well on your way to reaching your goal. It seems the more focused you become, the more you lose, the more people ask questions and make comments like, you seem different now that you have lost weight. How much more are you going to lose? And you had quite a few people respond with, wow. And I think that why they said that was because I think that question you asked, Michelle, resonated with a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And so I don't know about you guys. Shelly, I think you can probably weigh in on it. Aaron, you can likely weigh in on it too. And even you, Terry, even if this hasn't necessarily been your journey, but it was my experience, even though I'm not going to answer the question right now, that people are used to us being a certain way. And when we start to change, then they start to feel I don't know, uncomfortable about the change, and they don't always know what to say. And sometimes, people are resistant to it because of their own space, and then we think it's ours because we're not really ready to step into whatever we have to confront. And that's part of it. That's part of the growth. That's part of the learning. That's why this is really not about a journey, not about our relationship with food, but about how we show up our relationship with ourselves. That's really what this is about. So you know what, Erin, since you're the new girl.
Wow.
You get to go first.
So I want to weigh in what you said in the beginning, how it's not about you. And I've experienced this, and with women that I coach have experienced this as well. And a lot of this has to do with the fact that it is our relationship with people. So it's not necessarily that the people that are saying this to you, they're meaning it in a vicious way or in a mean way. It's actually because you're changing and your relationship with that person is changing. They know you as the person that likes to either go out and eat and do these things that you're used to do. Like, your relationship is based off of A, B, C, and D. And when you're on your journey, I know when I was on mine and things changed, like I quit drinking, I stopped going out a lot and doing different things with people because I was very focused on my goal, which was to not necessarily lose weight at the beginning of it. It was to control my binge eating. And so I had to do things that pulled me away from what other people knew me as. And when you start to change that way and people can't relate to you anymore, it's awkward. It is awkward. And it seems very different. And so a lot of people's first reactions is to pretty much just kind of come at you, right? Just claw at you to make you feel a certain way because obviously these are your friends, they're your family, they know you. They know if I can just poke at this button long enough, Erin's going to give in. She's going to cave in, and then things are going to get back to status quo, because right now things are off and I don't know how to handle it, being this person that's saying this to you. They don't know how to handle it except for the way that they know, because they're not changing, right? They just see the relationship that we had, there's a disconnect, and it's because of you. And when this happens, I know it's one of those things where it's like, you have to be in this position of like reclaiming your power, right? You have to be in the position of power, and you have to be the one to stand up and say, listen, I'm still the same person. I'm just trying to make changes for myself for the better and move on. And you can still focus on your goals. I know it seems very hard in the moment when you have the question or the comment of, you've lost so much weight, or how much weight are you going to lose? And do you really, why can't you eat this? And the negative scenarios that happen, it's really hard to stay in that mindset because you start to doubt yourself, like, well, am I doing this? Should I be doing this? Am I really changing? And when you start to second guess yourself, that's when I like to say, you kind of like relapse, because you are constantly, that's a whole nother vicious circle.
Yes.
So it's very, it's one of those things where you have to look at it in the sense of, it's not me. It sounds really cliche. It's not me, it's them.
Yeah. Because so Erin, you said something that I want to come back to, right? Okay. You said, but you are still the same person. And I want to unpack that a little bit, because on some level, you're not the same person.
Right.
You're doing this because you want to be different.
Yes.
You're doing this because you need to be different, or you need the person that's hidden beneath all these kind of off kilter decisions to emerge, right?
Yes.
You need. So you may be.
When I say the same person, I mean the same person in the sense of, you're still the same person that wants to go out and have fun and be a part of things, right? Yes. But you're right. You are changing as a person, because inside of you there, it's that whole butterfly cliche, right? You have this butterfly inside of you that's starting to emerge and starting to find new things. And I will take that back as to when I said, like, I stopped drinking. I drank for years, and a lot of people saw that as a negative drawback for me, right? They're like, oh, well, why'd you stop drinking? And this, that, and the other. And my response was, but I'm still the same fun Erin. I just don't have to drink to do it. Right. And so that's what I mean by you're still the same person, but you have a lot of things within you that you are trying to like uproot. Like there's a light, there's a power, that there's just something spiritual down deep inside of each and every single one of us, that when we start to unpack the layers and peel away the layers that we have with the overeating, with the food addiction, with the drinking, with whatever it is that you have going on, once you start pulling those layers away, you do essentially become a new person. You are a different person. You are trying to become someone different outside of, and I'll just use me as Erin that eats for comfort, right? I'm not Erin that eats for comfort. I'm not Erin the binge eater anymore. Right. I now have other things that I can associate myself with, and that is the new person. Yes. And
what you just described, Erin, is how you rewrite your food story.
Yes.
This is exactly how you rewrite your food story. And I want to just kind of weigh in because I was the same way about alcohol myself.
Okay.
And I never felt like I was an alcoholic, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't think that was the case, but I did like to go out and have wine. I did like to go out and drink. Because if you're going to happy hour, and I was in a very social industry. Mm-hmm. So we're going out to happy hour 3 times a week. Then you have brunch for any reason on the weekend, and if the champagne is free, right? Yes, right. That's another reason that we're eating for the wrong reasons. Free food, right? and it's not ever free. Then it adds up. And so here's what I did. So for anybody that's listening, here's what I did and what I figured out about myself. I realized that it wasn't so much the alcohol that was drawing me, but it was the experience of the alcohol. Mm-hmm. Here's what I mean by that. Right. When I first kind of figured out I wanted to do something different, I think, Colleen, you've heard this story before. I went to one of my favorite restaurants, and I said, I'll have a virgin martini. Mm-hmm. And the bartender said, a virgin martini, how do I make that? Because a martini is all alcohol. All alcohol. I said, okay, here's what you do. You get some club soda, you get some cranberry juice, you get some pineapple juice, you put it in that little silver shaker thing, you shake it up, and then you put it in a martini glass and give it to me. And so I realized that's the part I like. I didn't really care about that. I like the experience. I wanted the shaker, I wanted the glass, I wanted that. So I started weaning myself off. So if I would go out, and first of all, I would go someplace and have 4 or 5 glasses of wine or 4 or 5 martinis because I hadn't been drinking water, because I was thirsty. Mm-hmm. So I didn't, and so once I got hydrated, all of that shifted, right? And I could actually enjoy the beverage for what it was. Mm-hmm. I wasn't trying to use alcohol to do something that it can't do, which is satisfy thirst. Same thing with food. But anyway,
it is an experience. Like, Sunday fun day is what we used to always have. That Sunday fun day brunch, and it was just endless craft beers and food. And you're right, it's the experience. And now, being in the place I am 6 years later, though, it's like now that experience is, enjoying like the place setting and seeing that, like enjoying being with the company and talking to whomever I'm with. Like that's the experience that before I didn't even have.
Yes.
I didn't know that was an experience.
Yes. Yes. You didn't know what you were missing, right?
I did not know what I was missing.
Yeah. Exactly.
I just knew that the more beer I had and bring on some more waffles, and that was it. There was no enjoyment in it. Looking back, there was no enjoyment in that.
Right.
Mhm.
So, I'm so glad you unpacked that for us a little bit. But also, Terry, I wanna hear what you have to say and how you might, weigh in on people responding to folks showing up differently, because certainly what you wear, and how you dress and how your body changes, that draws out a different response as people, I think, and certainly I felt it myself, showing up more confidently in how they appear. Oh, based on having lost weight.
Yes, I actually agree with Erin regarding that, because what happens is when you show up differently and you stand in, like you said, in your confidence, that makes the other person uncomfortable. And sometimes it makes them take a look at themselves. When you start growing and becoming more confident, and especially with your clothes, because clothes, like you said, is maybe shallow, but it isn't, because it's a communication tool.
It's a big deal.
I mean, when people see you for the first time, it takes less than 7 seconds. They've already decided who you are just by what you're wearing. And so when you show up differently and your clothes are different and you have more pep in your step and you're more confident, the other person's looking at you like, wait, she used to have her head down. She wasn't outspoken. She didn't say anything. And that makes them think, wait, who is this person? Because you are different. You're a different person because you've started tapping into who you really are.
Yes.
It comes from the inside out. And when you go into the inside, it's going to show.
Yeah.
It's going to show to everybody, because you have that power. And once you tap into that power, everybody's going to see it.
Yes.
And it makes them uncomfortable.
When people start saying, oh, she thinks she's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? Let me tell you something about that she thinks she's cute, right? I love this. So one of my friends on her Facebook page, her mother lives with her. Her mom, Miss Perline, is in her 90s. And she wrote on her Facebook page that her mother, and her mother does, in her 90s, she's doing her nails, she's doing her eyelashes, she's doing all that. And she called over and she's like, I'm pretty Perline, right? This is what she said, right? And my friend's like, yeah, mom, you're pretty. And then she goes, it's a sorry dog that won't wag its own tail. So
I love that.
It's a poor dog that wags its own tail.
So yes, she does think she's cute, because she is. Yeah, if we don't say it about ourselves, if we don't feel it about ourselves, who else?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. You have to think you're cute, because if you don't, who will?
Right.
It starts with you.
But you know what the other thing about it? You know what the other thing about that is to me? Is that when we feel that about ourselves, it radiates out. And how we are in alignment and how we dress. And I didn't even get this until I got to this part of the journey, is that then we become a blessing to other people.
Yes.
I mean, the how we show up, how we look. And I kind of like get it, because I sometimes when I'm out walking, not sometimes, but almost all the time when I'm out walking, somebody will stop me and say something to me about my walking. Oh, I see you walking all the time. You look like you're having a good time. It's so good to see you walking. And I will tell you, when I first started walking and I wasn't that happy about it, nobody said that to me. But we are, our presence is our gift to the world, right? And so when we are in alignment with our emotions, and we're eating for the right reasons, and we're accessing our emotions and not suppressing them, then that is how we're being authentic, and we're sharing our true identity to the world. And that's this is what this is about. And I love, I mean, I'm in that, Terry, I'm in that boutique. I see some stuff. I see some stuff right there. But what you said is that how we are inside is not separate from how we are on the outside.
No.
And we've heard that for many years, right? Oh, what matters is what's on the inside. Well, what's on the inside will manifest itself.
Yeah.
It will manifest. It will manifest
Mhm.
itself. And our goal is to get it in alignment, whether you start on the outside and work in, or you start on the inside and work out. What we do here is we focus on starting on the inside, those things that we can't see, those things that are outside the plate that make the plate easier to manage. Because when you're fighting, you're fighting the plate and you don't know why. But if you get to the stories and unpack the stories, then you don't have to fight. You're like, oh, okay, I understand what this is all about. It's not that, right? So we're gonna come back to you, Terry. We're gonna come back to you. We're gonna come back to you in the closet, because the real deal is the closet and the clothes is just a representation of the fact that we have to have a goal. Everybody's goal is different. Maybe you just want to get, your medicine cabinet, clean your medicines out of your medicine cabinet. Maybe you want to get off the sleep apnea machine. Maybe you want to get off the walker. Maybe you want to be able to cross your legs. Everybody's thing is different, but maybe you just want to get into your wedding dress. I won't tell the wedding dress story tonight, but maybe, but you gotta have something. You've got to have a reason why. Maybe you just want to play with your kids. Maybe you want to play with your grandkids. Maybe you don't want to be a burden to your own children because you haven't taken care of your own body, and you want your children to have some freedom.
Yes.
So this shows up in so many ways.
So many ways.
Yes.
So many ways.
True.
I mean, maybe you're going into retirement and you want to be able to really enjoy it, right? Because I feel like there's so many, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong here. There are so many women, and there's so many Black women that are excelling and slaying it on the job, right? Slaying it on the job, dressing in your 3X, your 2X, your 4X. I know, because that's what I did, and showing up because you have to, but you still feel like that there's something that you haven't achieved because you haven't been able to achieve the same success when it comes to managing your body, your body weight. And it still makes it made me feel like a failure. It made so all this other achievement I couldn't even really feel it like I wanted to feel it, because there was this cloud.
Yeah, and you kind of overachieve in other areas because you're underproducing in that one area that you really want to.
Yes, nailed it. Yeah. So Shelly, we're gonna we're coming around to you. You're somebody that's been on this journey. If you want to weigh in on, any sort of comments or observations that people had along your journey, we want to hear that.
When I was younger, I wanted to wear Levi's. It was a Levi's commercial on television that I loved. And I was 160 pounds in the 3rd grade. And I couldn't get in those Levi's. I tried every store, couldn't get in them. And then as I got older, I kept going back to try, because even when I lost weight, I still wasn't fitting them right. Until I became an adult, and I have a whole lot of Levi's now. I got Levi's up the yin yang. I just love Levi's. I love the commercial. I couldn't fit them. Now I can. Every time I see a pair, I try more to get them. And I'm like, I gotta stop this. This is enough Levi's. But I love them.
Never too many Levi's.
Yeah.
No. Never too many. That's right.
That's my favorite.
Yeah. And quite frankly, Shelly, I don't think they can be too tight either.
Boy, Levi's, I just love them. That was a big deal to me. That was one.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff. So, Erin, I want to come back to you though. All right. I want to come back to you and just maybe just get off the question just a little bit, because before we came on camera, you were telling us a little bit about your journey.
Yes.
And what you do and how you do it. So if you can kind of share that with who.
So I'm 43. So I started.
And you're fabulous, by the way.
Thank you. It's all that
and
water.
You just had a baby.
Wow.
Just had a baby.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, so when I had some things happen to me when I was 15 years old, and that started my protective eating became my protection. And at the time, I did not know that's what I was doing, but then it transformed into. So I come from a school of my background's is in therapy, so I CBT and DBT is part of the work I do. But on top of that, there's other things that I now modalities that I have working with people that binge and overeat. But when it started, it was that protective thing. And since our brains are so powerful, it turned into every time I felt like I need to protect myself, it was the brain was like, oh, but remember when we did that eating thing and that felt good. So let's just keep doing that. So when I was 15, that's when it started.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting into fitness. So I was at the gym, I lifted, I wanted to become a bikini competitor, all those things. And so I substituted, I was still overeating, but now my workout was like my purge. I never purged physically, but my working out was the way that I purged. So I would work out so I could eat, and I eat so I could work out. And so my cycle started that way. And I did that up until literally probably it's been 7 years now. And I was just always stuck in that cycle, and I never felt I just never felt good enough. I was overachieving in other areas like fitness or trying to do better when I was in school, like trying to do better in school. I was always trying to find something else to do that was taking me away from what really my problem was, which was food and eating. That was my comfort. That was my false comfort is what I call it now. But I was eating my emotions. I was eating to feel better about something. I was eating for any excuse, right?
All the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons. To where, I'm a big person of language. That goes back into my background. Language. I used to say, one of my favorite lines was leave no man behind, which was anything on my plate. So I would eat and I would say, leave no man behind. So I would eat until everything was off my plate.
Yes.
That was it. I spoke into existence that, I'm an overeater. I'm a binge eater. I'm an emotional eater. So every time I said those words, that's what I would do, right? That my experience with that gave me evidence that that's what I am. So that's what I continue to do.
It's self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes, exactly. And so, that journey a long, sad road of, binge, restrict, because I was on every diet, every yo-yo diet, every pill, powder, and shake.
You know what, Aaron, that's in my book.
Did I co-write this with you?
I use that same language. Yeah.
Yeah, I did every pill, powder, and shake so I could try to be skinny. And I ultimately, I say that I dieted myself overweight. I was never really big or, obese per se, but I was never happy with the way I looked. And I back and forth the same 20, 30, sometimes 40 pounds for those 20 years. So that was my journey with I don't know how much time we have, but that's my story with eating and overeating and drinking. And that became something that I just, because I was depressed, I was like, I did go through a depression. There was a big year where I thought something was wrong with me. I was fatigued. I did essentially from all the yo-yo dieting, I have gastrointestinal issues. I had adrenal fatigue, metabolic issues, and depression. And that all stemmed from just the yo-yo dieting and, losing and gaining those same 20, 30, 40 pounds for years. And, it got to a point where one day I was like, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I rewrote my story. There's a new story. And I did a lot of shadow work, which that's a whole nother thing, but I did a lot of shadow work with what happened. I know where the story started, and I know why from when I was 15. And long story short with that one, I wrote a letter of forgiveness to that person that did what they did. And I wrote a letter of forgiveness to myself. And then I started doing all these different modalities for myself on my own journey just to to end, to break free of my struggle.
Wow, man, it warms my heart. You know, it warms my heart to hear your story, to hear you, to be able to share it,
Yeah.
and what it also does, and it makes me feel like we're sisters, right? It makes me feel like we're sisters, and the thing is that it's not just the two of us. There's so many of us out here that have this same story, and as soon as we recognize that we are not alone, right, it's not just us, that that helps us head down the road, that helps us head down the road in some comfort. At least it helped me head down the road in some comfort. And so I don't know if you've had a chance, but I hope you do have a chance to download a copy.
I'm going to, yes.
Of this Leaving Large, because in these stories, I will share this first story, and I'll tell you how the breakthrough came for me. And it may be something that you can use later on. But as I came to this last cycle of yo-yoing myself, I was like, what is wrong? Why, what is wrong with me? The same thing. There's something, there's this, how can I get this? What do I keep missing? Because I get the pills, the powders, the shakes, the hypnosis, the surgery, all of that. And this story came up for me. I grew up in the South, in the country, and my uncle was having a barbecue at his house, and we had watermelon. And I asked him if he wanted some. I'm going to give you a short version. And he said no. My uncle might have been 75, 80 years old. And I'm like, well, what, you don't like it? You don't want it? Why don't you want it? And he said, I don't eat it. And I'm like, well, why don't you? Who doesn't eat watermelon? And finally, he broke down and told me that when he was a kid, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, he and some buddies stole a watermelon. My grandfather, who was a church trustee and a railroad laborer, not a good combination, found out about it and gave him a beating within an inch of his life that he never forgot.
Wow.
Really never forgot. And so when I heard the story, I said, Billy, do you think maybe the lesson was supposed to be thou shalt not steal? Right?
Right.
And so my uncle said, I don't eat watermelon. And that was it.
Yeah.
And after a while, I'm telling you, Aaron, the truth, when he told me that, the truth just rose up in me. Rose up. And I said, oh my God, that is it. If you cannot eat a food for 70 years because it's too painful, because of that experience, because of that memory, because of that event, it's just too visceral and too traumatic that you never, ever eat it, then the opposite must also be true.
Yeah. And
just like my uncle was not able to separate that beating from the watermelon, we, as yo-yo dieters and overeaters, emotional eaters, these people that have triggers, we have not learned to separate the pleasure, the addiction from certain foods. And once I got that, and once I created a process to separate the feeling from the food, that's when I got free. That's when I got free. That's what the book is about. That's when I found my power. That's when I found peace, and some joy, and some confidence, because it's not the food, right? But what the food stories do, and you as a therapist, because I'm not a therapist, I'm just a woman that figured it out. The food stories they provide a break. They provide a halt to the pattern. They provide an interruption so that you can then go make the correction in terms of nutrition and exercise and things like that. They stop it. They stop the pattern.
Yeah.
So
well, and that pattern though too, and from the therapy standpoint versus, because I figured it out for myself too. Like I went to therapy for a little bit and did not help at all.
You too.
The brain, like I said before, so kind of what you're saying is, those stories come from our lower brain. So like our lower brain is the primitive brain. It's that brain that wants to keep us safe, wants to keep us, from in survival mode. And the easiest way for me to explain this is that, the lower brain is the one that's like, eat the food, go ahead, eat the food. but we don't use our higher brain. So almost like going to the bathroom, right? You have that urge that you have to use the bathroom. But when we use our higher brain, if we're watching like a good movie on Netflix, we can shut that lower brain down and say, no, we're not going right now, right? Because how many of you have sat through a movie and held your pee to go to the bathroom because you want to watch the movie? And that's something that we don't realize that we have that control to do, because that lower brain is saying, eat, crave, eat, crave. But we don't tap into that higher brain and use our reasoning and the analytical side to say, no, I don't need to eat right now. And so that's where I started with my ending this, is understanding that it's physiological and our brains are just so powerful. We just have to learn how to use the higher brain, because that primitive brain that just wants to keep us in circle, it's like the dog, dog sees something, runs after it. Yeah. It doesn't have that higher brain functioning like we do. And it's like, just like I said, when you have to use the bathroom, but you hold it because you're telling yourself, I don't want to go right now. It's the same thing that happens with our lower brain with cravings. So kind of like what you said, as far as our stories go, those stories are our lower brain that is working. And until we can understand that that's what that is, and we can dismiss that lower brain urge and tap into our higher selves and reason with it. For me, that's what kept me in that cycle, because I was constantly obeying it.
Oh, that is beautiful, and I think we need to end on this higher brain note. So, if you will, Aaron, do this. Just let our viewers know how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, for sure.
Website, email address, any of that. I love that. I love that juiciness that you said about the higher brain, lower brain. That's great insight. I hope you'll come back.
I will.
Like a topic that we can explore even more. But let people know how to reach you. And then Terry, we're going to let people know how they can reach you too.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Instagram a lot. So it's just Erin Michelle Avery. That's my handle, at Erin Michelle Avery. Any questions, you can email me at erinAveryFitness@gmail. And then I also have a podcast that I'm rebooting, and it's called Reclaim Your Power. So,
yeah. Yes. All right. So Terry, for anybody that is looking to reclaim their power through their wardrobe, right?
Yes, ma'am. I am on Instagram and Facebook at Stylishly Terry. That's Stylishly Terry. And you can reach me via email at terry@empoweredstyles.com. Again, it's terry@empoweredstyles.com.
And I want you to do a shameless plug for yourself too. I know you were weighing in on our dilemma, our Monday dilemma. So you didn't get a chance to tell us about your boutique back there. So share a little bit about your boutique and what you do, and how you can help anybody that is on this reinvention, reimagining road for themselves.
Okay, sure. Thank you. I'll take a couple minutes, not long. Just wanted to let you know that I was on a different kind of journey. Growing up, I didn't feel good about myself. I love to get dressed up, but when I found that when I got dressed on the outside, it made me feel good on the inside. I was bullied and teased growing up, and so you don't feel good about yourself. But like I said before, clothes are powerful. When you look good on the outside, it really helps you feel good and better about yourself on the inside. And what I do is I help women discover their unique personal style, because we're all beautiful and we have to understand and believe that. Do not compare yourself to the next person, because you're unique and you're beautiful. And so what I help women is discover that personal style so you can dress for your body shape, because a lot of times women will put on clothes that are not cut for their body shape, and then they think it's them or their body, but it's just that you have on the wrong type of clothes for your body. And so I help women discover their unique style, their body shape, so they can dress and portray what's important to them, their values, their mission, and they can dress, feel confident from the inside out. And when you do that, I mean, you show up and you're confident in everything that you do. And so I've been a cabbie stylist for 9 years, but I also started during the pandemic. when we were all down, I said, you know what? I want to help women. I know I have a gift and a calling to help women through fashion. And so that's when I started Empowered Styles. And I will sit with women and help them discover their unique style so they can show up feeling confident and amazing from the inside out.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And and Shelly, I don't necessarily know that you want to, give out your email address so people can get in touch with you. But I saw you. You looked transfixed when Terry was talking about clothes, even though she wasn't talking about jeans.
Yes, I take a lot of pictures, and after I'm dressed, I think that I look great. But then a lot of pictures I look at, like, why did I wear that? What in the heck? Because I'm short, and I just look short and stumpy, and I'm like, I'm not stumpy. But for some reason, I really don't know what I'm doing, because I need your help.
Okay, I'm here for you.
Well, it seems like there's a love connection there between you.
Yeah, I need your help too. I need everybody's help.
So Shelly, did you get Terry's email information? Did you write it down?
I need all of her information. I'm trying to look and can't write it all down at the same time.
Okay, so what I'll do is I will share her email information with you.
Both Aaron's too as well.
And Aaron's, okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Aaron, yeah. Thank you.
All right, ladies. Thank you for such a rich, wonderful conversation tonight. We went a little over, but I think it was well worth it. It was worth it for sure. Dr. Colleen, thank you.
Thank you,
much.
Michelle.
Michelle,
are you going to share?
Did I leave something out?
Well, I always make sure you share at the very end. You got some workshops going to be coming up after the first of the year.
Yes. So you want to do a save the date. I am going to be starting workshops in 2022. The first one's going to be in January, and it is a workshop that will teach you how to discover and rewrite your own food stories. Because here's what I found. Is that people say all the time diets don't work. Well, you know what? They do work, right? They do work, but when we get to a place where we can't do something, right, or we fail, or we make a misstep, it's because we have a food story that is blocking our path. It's blocking our success. So rewrite your food stories, get your food story in hand, and it makes it easier for you to manage whatever program that you decide.
I love it.
So that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do in January. Everybody has food stories.
Okay.
All right. So thank you, guys. We'll see you next Monday. Brand new take, 7 o'clock. We're going to raise our collective consciousness about why we eat what we eat.
Yeah.